the co-main event. Ryan Bader's homecoming spoiled by Corey Anderson in 51 seconds. What did you make of his performance?
You know, I mean, it was a short fight. He got caught, and that was, once he got caught, that was it. I think that Corey timed it perfectly. But it's something I was hoping we get to some more rounds out of the fight. But this is MMA. Things happen extremely quick and fast, explosive. I think that's why people love mixed martial arts, because it is very explosive, and that's what you saw tonight with Corey.
Main event, Vadim Nemkov. Took a little bit longer, but he ultimately got the job done. Were you impressed with the champion's performance?
Yeah, when he got caught, I thought it was over. I really thought that, because it wasn't just a little shot. I mean, he got hit with a big shot, and I thought, okay, this fight's over. And, to his credit, he came back, fought smart, fought, I think kind of started, when he started getting started getting him cut, and then he started getting some confidence. I think that that's what turned the tide, is, some of his ability to hurt the opponent. So I think that that's when you're the champ, you step up, and that's what he did.
October's a big month for the light heavyweight division, not only Bellator, but all of MMA. Corey was in here a little while ago, and he has wins over both men competing in the UFC's light heavyweight title fight at the end of this month. I know you've been very high on your light heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, given the fact that Corey's past history with those fighters, and Vadim's obviously a really top-tier fighter as well, that fight will determine who the best 205-pounder on the planet is?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a gauntlet of 205ers, and whoever wins this tournament, to me, is the best 205er on the planet, period. That's how I feel.
This card, top to bottom, had a lot of violent finishes. It had a great fight between Carl and Dobbs Yags, your friend there. Just curious, seeing all those, have you guys considered trying to put in like a fight of the night bonus or anything, maybe for some of these prelim guys that overperform?
I'll tell you, it's something that we've obviously talked about it internally for years, but we have a certain budget that we pay fighters, and it's a big budget. It's the biggest budget in the company. And we pay our fighters top dollar to perform, and so we take the championship. We take the bonuses out of it, because we're already paying them like top dollar. So we're not skimming back and saying, okay, why don't we hold this to see if they perform as a bonus. We pay them as much as we can and pay them well. And I'm sure if you talk to some of our fighters, you'll hear the same thing: is that we pay extremely well here, and if they perform, they're going to go up, and it's really up to them at that point. But I feel good about it, and I actually talked to Josh Thompson about it. He has a very good, feeling, because of how we did it in Strikeforce, and we did the same here. We didn't have, fight of the night bonus, because every single penny that we had budgeted for the year for fighting, we always paid out max. So, we just do it a different way.
The light heavyweight tournament's obviously been a big centerpiece for the promotion all throughout the year. Mm-hmm. A lot of challenges, a lot of people falling out, but you guys have been able to make it work. Now that we're at the finals, just what are your overall thoughts on how the tournament's played out and sort of where we're at with it?
I mean, the finals that we have now really is a fight that, I thought this could be the finals, right? He was going to be Bader, and I thought Nemkov was going to win, because, he's a champ. He's been looking so good. He had a tough fight tonight, and so, I'm going to let him heal up for, let's say, a month or so, but I think we're going to start having conversation in the next 30 days about when we'll have the finals. I personally would love to have finals sometime in late January, early February, and let's give those guys time to heal up. Corey obviously doesn't need to heal up. His fight was very short, but I think Nemkov needs a little bit of rest time, and then we'll get it on.
What do you make sort of the state of the lightweight division now in Bellator? Mm-hmm. Obviously, we have the title fight coming up next. You had a big fight tonight with Prix and Bendo. Mm-hmm. Just overall thoughts on the state of the lightweight division and where it's headed now that we sort of have clarity with this title picture?
Yeah, I mean, I think that with Patricio letting go of the belt and letting his brother and quickly fight for the belt in Ireland on the 5th of November, now that division is wide open, right? And Prix had a great fight tonight. I think he is going to be the number 1 contender, number 2 contender. I think that he's going to be the next guy in line, whoever wins that fight. And there's other people coming up. There's a lot of talented kids. I mean, I look at a fighter who's young, give him a couple more fights, and I'm talking about Usman Nurmagomedov. He's a guy that is just growing. Every time I see him, he's just getting better and better and better. And there's a lot of really talented 155ers coming up that are really young, that I feel that are going to grow in the next 6-8 months, a year, and we're going to put them right in there. And now that the title's open, everybody's going to get their shot.
both Benson and Brent were very open with their thoughts on the booking of the lightweight title fight, and they felt like this should have been it tonight. Can you explain a little bit about just why it was Peter and why it was Pitbull, and that's sort of the direction you guys
Yeah,
went?
you know what? I mean, if you look at our rankings, the number one contender was Patricky, was the number one contender. So we went with that. And listen, when we negotiated this with Patricio, it was very clear. Like, this is, I'm letting this go for my brother to have his shot. And if the brother would have wins, he doesn't want to be the guy to fight his brother, right? So that's why he said, okay, I'll let it go. I'm gonna focus on 145. But what I will say is, look, now Primus will have a shot after this fight, and this fight's going to happen in a matter of weeks. But come January, February, maybe we'll get it on again for the winner of the Quilly fight against Patricky can fight Primus at this point.
Hey, Scott, congrats on a great card, top to bottom. So I'm looking at the prelims, which was a banger of a prelim. Maria Henderson, Sullivan Cauley, Jalen Bates, Lance Gibson, and Samiko Inaba all came in undefeated, all leave undefeated. So when you go back to your brain trust, who's the person that you're leaving this card feeling the best about from that group? Like that maybe they need a little more.
Need a little more. I mean, when I look at the talent that was fighting on the undercard, the first thing I thought of is Benson Henderson, coming, like with the wife and really embracing her and having that moment in the cage. What a special moment that was. And I know this was really important for his wife to fight and be on the same card with him. So it all happened. But that to me, that was a special moment. And when I think about Yag's fight with Carl, man, that was an amazing fight. And honestly, if you were to ask me who was going to win that fight before it started, I thought that Yags might pull it off. But it was Carl's night, and it was just like an amazing back and forth matchup. So to me, those two guys. And when I think about Henry Corrales, what a great performance he had. Kitty fought was super tough, and he brought it, and he was there to win. And Henry just, he did what he had to do tonight. So to me, those are the fighters that really stuck out in my mind, other than the fights that are all, the Benson Primus fight, and Corey looked amazing, and Nemkov, he pulled it off. So my hats off to him. But the one thing when I think about the undercard of these fights, I mean, really, we're giving opportunities for some of these guys to really take the next step up. And that's really what we're doing, is we're going to build the next talent, the next group. I'm really excited about Aaron Pico's fight coming up. I'm excited about Usman's fight coming up next week in Moscow. We have a lot of young kids that are super talented, male and female, and we're going to build these guys over the next year, and then we'll start putting them into title contention. So that's our game plan.
Scott, Samiko Inaba was just mentioned right there, and she's got all finishes now in Bellator, looking great at flyweight, another great division of yours. Do you think she's ready for a step up? Because she's performing very well out there.
Yeah, I thought she looked great. I thought she did what she had to do, and I would say yes. So we'll go back. Traditionally, I like to go back, huddle up with my team, and reshuffle the deck, so to speak. The rankings helps a lot when you guys vote for the rankings and the media puts their thoughts in. It's not always number one will fight, or the champion will fight number one or number two. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But for the most part, we respect what the media comes out with as far as the rankings. But sometimes we're going to put out different types of fights or different fights that we feel that they deserve. And I think she's going to, be right in that mix. And I think that she's got a bright future.
Hey, Scott, Lance Gibson Jr. had a violent finish, and he believes he should be ranked next week. What do you think of him? He speaks well. He looks good. He has a really, really great personality. What are your thoughts on him?
Listen, he's a guy that we've identified from day one as a potential, star in the sport, and that's why we signed him. And let's see how he does. He might need a couple more fights. I think he's early in his career, but he's definitely on the right path. But I that first round I thought was pretty close. It wasn't like he dominated the whole fight and just took it to this kid. I mean, it was back and forth, and yeah, it ended the way it did. But let's test him out a couple more times, and we'll go from there.
Scott, right here. You're obviously going to Dublin. You did London. You did Moscow. So you're clearly willing to travel. With a fighter like Vadim, who's Russian, and Corey, who obviously had ties to the New York area, New York has a massive Russian population.
Mhm.
Would you think about putting that fight in an arena like Madison Square Garden?
That'd be interesting. I mean, we talked about taking that fight to the East Coast for sure. We talked about maybe Chicago. You know what? I think that maybe we would bring it back here. I mean, maybe we could run it back right here. I mean, to me, this is a great, listen, these fans were amazing. They were loud, they were passionate, they knew their MMA. A lot of them came out to Bader, but I think, Bader still has a heavyweight title to defend, right? So he's going to want to get back on that horse soon. But I mean, maybe that's a fight that we could, make it a triple main event and really just bring a great fight card here and run it back here in Phoenix because it's quite the venue. The arena is beautiful. People were friendly. It was really nice. It was just a great experience to be here in Phoenix, and we definitely want to come back. Yeah, good point.
Anglikius was faced with a really tall order coming into this event. And like you mentioned earlier on, there was a moment in that first round where you thought this fight was over. So just wondering what your overall feelings were on his performance and how he showed out.
I feel like he didn't lose any stock tonight, in my opinion. He, like you said, he came in as an alternate, came in with a very, like you said, a very tall order, using your words. And he was one punch away from knocking Nemkov out or taking him out, right? I mean, if he would have hit one more bomb, I think it would have been over. Nemkov, to his credit, is a tough guy, and he's got an amazing chin. And, I think he just outwilled him tonight, I think that, when I think about this fight, it's like the early rounds could have went in any direction, right? And then the later rounds were definitely for Nemkov. But, I don't think he lost any stock, in my opinion. And we're going to put him back in soon. And when he's ready, we're going to put him back in. We'll keep testing this kid because, he's no joke, man. This guy could bring it.
When you have a card the same night as a UFC, are you even worried about them?
Honestly, I didn't even know they had a card tonight. And so that's the truth. And, I focus on our business. I focus on what we're doing. I think we're doing some great things. I said in July 31st, we had a reboot of Bellator, which was the AJ fight against Pitbull. And that was the first time we had a live audience with fans. We went to San Jose, went to London. London was a smash. Here, I think it was a smash. I mean, I think we're back at doing what we do best and being back on the road and promoting great fights. And I think that's what we did tonight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Scott.
Thank you, guys.